Hello and welcome to all you lions out there. For those of you who haven't heard my dulcet tones before, it's Dr. Conor Ward, the health elevator and founder of the Lions of Chiropractic group and seminar. So I just want to take the time, first of all, to thank you guys for tuning in. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of value out of this webinar. So it's all about trying to get new clients through the door. For me, I'm going to be talking about the best type of new clients that you can recruit and the three key factors that influence them when they walk through the door. My good friends then, Colin and Casey, are going to join in and say the top 5 ways to recruit new clients. And I've looked over their content and there are some real golden nuggets in it. So I'm very excited for you guys to hear that too. Then at the end, I have a big announcement about what we have planned for the Lions of Chiropractic seminar on May 19th next year. So stay tuned to the end for that announcement. So first of all, let me tell you a little bit about my history in case you guys don't know. So I've been in practice for the last 10 years and during that time I've predominantly worked for Halsa Care Group. I've also worked for Liam Schubel and Putney Chiropractic. Also, both times I've worked for Halsa, I've had to build my client base from scratch. Now, the first time I did this was in the Bracknell Clinic, and it was pretty slow going. It mainly relied on referrals, and it meant that month by month, I wasn't seeing much growth, but over the course of 4 years, I built up a very healthy client base. The second time was much quicker. When I worked in Halsa Surbiton, it took me only 7 months to build up what had taken me 4 years to build up in Bracknell. Now, the difference between starting in Bracknell and starting in Surbiton was, one, I had a lot more experience, but two, I'd had a lot of mentoring. Now, one of my mentors over the years for many different things has been Brad Glowacki. So I did his corporate skeleton key and I went to many of his different seminars, and it taught me how to get into different corporations and how to attract new clients that way. I also fairly recently did Jeremy Loop's online social media course to learn how to attract new clients through things like Facebook marketing and using social media to get new clients in various different streams like that. So what it allowed me to do was to target better quality new clients. And when I thought about it, there were those 3 key factors I mentioned earlier that influence new clients coming through the door. So before you get into your script or whatever you have for your day 1, your day 2 procedures, just the 3 key factors that's going to make it more likely for them to start care with you and to stay care with you long term. So the first thing, and probably the biggest one, is trust. So their belief in you as a practitioner and their belief in chiropractic overall is the thing that builds their trust. The second factor is education. So how much they know about chiropractic, how chiropractic works, the process that people go through when they come through for chiropractic sessions, and their expectations of how long it's going to take and what chiropractic will do for them. And then the last factor is their investment. So how much skin they have in the game. There's a huge difference between somebody who's paid full price for a full examination and x-rays if they're taken, and somebody who's come in on a voucher. When somebody's paid full price, so in my clinic for a full examination x-ray is £110. So there's this thing called the fear of the loss of investment. This is a very powerful thing in all human nature. So if somebody, you just have to think about, if you pay X amount for a house and the price starts to drop, then you start to get a lot of stress because you fear the loss of that investment. Now, the same thing happens on a much lower scale whenever people come in for an initial examination. If they're paying £110, then that's quite a significant investment for them, so they're more likely to follow through. If they've got a voucher, then in our clinic that often means that they're paying £30 for the examination and an x-ray if it was needed. So that's a much lower investment, and the fear of losing that investment is much less. So it does affect how likely they are to follow through based upon that. So I'm going to go through my hierarchy of new clients, and this is a list that is based upon my experience, and it's my experience. So your experience may be slightly different, so your list may be slightly different, but based upon those three key factors that we see, this is from the very best clients that we see walking through the door to often the worst clients who we see walking through the door. So the first and most people's number one is a personal referral. So somebody who's been sent in by somebody who's already under your care. So when it comes to trust, they usually have medium to high levels of trust because they've got that personal recommendation from a friend. And that's probably the most important thing for them as they walk through the door. From an education point of view, they, depending on how much they've been told by the person who referred them, they will have between low and medium levels of education. And then depending on what you guys do individually for people who come in as a referral in your practice, they will have between low and high levels of investment when it comes to actually signing up for care. Next down on the hierarchy are people who have searched for your clinic. So this could be in the form of a Google search or, I don't know, using the yellow pages if they even still exist. But they want to see a chiropractor. They've looked on Google. They've checked all the different chiropractors in the area. They've looked at you. They like your website. And they've decided they want to come and see you. So again, from a trust point of view, they generally will have medium to high levels of trust because they've actually sought out the care and they believe that's what they need. From an education point of view, they may know a lot about chiropractic. That might be why they're coming to see you, or they may know very little about chiropractic. So it's going to be between a low and high level of education. But normally, certainly in our clinic, if they come in, then they will have a high level of investment. These are the people who will pay full price for their initial examination. Next on the list, we have people who come in from a talk. So this could be a health talk or a talk that you've done in the clinic or outside the clinic. And there's lots of different versions of this. There's the dinner with the doc. There's obviously any of the talks you do to any groups. And then you may have an internal health class. So again, the trust here will be medium to high because they have met you and they've bought into what you said to the point where they said, yes, I want to sign up for this type of thing. I want to have a full examination to hear more about what this person is talking about. Their education should be medium to high, depending on how long you've had to talk to them and what you actually talked about. And then their level of investment, again, depends on what you do for the people at these talks, but it's going to be between low and high again. So depending if they come in and you've offered them some special offer to get them through the door, or if they've just come in based upon what you said and they're willing to pay full price, the investment is low to high. Next on the list, we have any online videos. So Facebook videos, YouTube videos, any sort of form of media that the person has had a chance to look at online, and then they've decided off the basis of that to come in for an examination. So again, their trust, depending on the length of the video, will be between low to medium for this type of thing in my experience. They generally had their interest piqued by the video, but they're not really sure if it's exactly for them. Their education normally is a medium, so because they know certainly something about the condition or the thing you were talking about in the video, but they may not know that much about chiropractic outside of what you specifically talked about. And then their investment, again, depending on what you do in that video, will be low to medium. So all of those factors will affect them as they come through. Next on the list, we have corporate clients. They have a medium level of trust because whenever you walk through the door in a corporation, there is an assumption by the employees that you've been vetted by the people who've let you in. So there's a certain level of trust, and as a peer influencer, an employer is one of those. So if they think that chiropractic is a positive thing to have checked out, then there's a certain level of trust that comes with that. So again, depending on what you do, you may be doing a talk, you may be doing a corporate screening. There's going to be a medium level of trust, a low to medium level of education, and then a low level of investment. Next on the list, we have the walk-bys. So people who see your clinic and say, chiropractor, I want to get involved with that. They have a medium level of trust because, again, they've opted in. They've come into the clinic. They found out more information. They have often low level of education. They generally don't know that much about chiropractic, but they're willing to find out more. And they have known the high level of investment. So somebody who maybe again be paying full price. Then next on the list, we have people who are screening. So this is generally a screening that's done in the street, at markets or at fairs. And again, there's a big difference between if you have a screening team, like we do at HALSA, and if you're actually doing the screening yourself as a doctor. So if you're there, the person that they spoke to on the day was you, then that will affect their level of trust, which is the first bit. So they'll have a low to medium level of trust, a low to medium level of education, depending on how much you got to speak to them on that day. And normally they'll be coming in on a voucher, special offer you have that day, so they'll have a low level of investment. Lastly, this is a bit of a variable one, but advertising. So it all depends on the type of advertising you're doing. But normally they have a medium level of trust because, again, they've opted in. They've seen an advertisement for the clinic and they've decided they want to come in. They have a low level of education, and then they have a low to high level of investment. And like I said, there's a very big difference between the type of advertising you do. If you have an advert in your local newspaper that's half a page, and that's a bit different than being the featured chiropractor expert on a TV interview, which is what we used to do in Peru and was wonderful for getting new clients through the door. So advertising is the next on the list. And then last and very bottom, which I'm sure probably most of you have experienced if you've done it before, are the people who come in on some sort of online voucher, your Groupons, your vouchers, those types of things. So these people, there are some diamonds. I've had some fantastic new clients over the years that have come in and stayed and been wonderful clients through Groupon, but it's not the majority of them. You have to shift through a lot of tire kickers, a lot of people who are unfortunately just looking for a quick fix with the 2 sessions that they get. So they have a very low level of trust because they are coming in and they're kind of expecting a sale. They're kind of expecting that they've paid very little for this examination and treatments, and so they are expecting you to sell them into something, and that puts them on guard. So a low level of trust. They generally have a low level of education. They don't really know that much about chiropractic. Sometimes you get people who are just genuinely wanting to come in because they've had chiropractic before. But generally, in my experience, it's a low level of education and then a low level of investment. These guys are paying the least amount of anybody who comes in to our clinic for that examination and subsequent care. So that's my hierarchy of new clients. What we want to do whenever we see these new people coming through the door is we want to aim for those people that are at the top end of that hierarchy. Okay, so referrals, obviously, learning how to ask for referrals and gaining as many new referrals is very important. But if you're aiming to grow your practice through referrals alone, as I said, whenever I worked in Bracknell, it's a very slow process. It's very possible to build a amazing practice out of that, but if you want to get results quickly, then you need to invest in trying to learn the other methods that we spoke about in the hierarchy. So optimizing your Google search, that type of thing, finding out how to give effective talks, and then effective Facebook videos, getting into corporations. Those are the ones we want to do because they have a much higher value of the services we provide. And as I said, over the years, when I went to work with Brad Glowacki and Jeremy Loops, I learned a lot from ways and means of getting new clients through the door. But I wanted an easy life, and that's why I started working with the 3S Chiropractic Systems. So that's 2 of my friends who were in my year at college in AACC, Colin and Casey, and their sister also works with them in that group, and that's why there's three S's. So Colin and Casey went to college with me. They were kind of the cool guys in our year, and whenever they left, they went back and moved back to Canada, and they invested a lot in learning how to be more effective at marketing, and they both have very successful practices themselves. And the reason I wanted to work with them is because they were educated here in the UK. They have an understanding of the UK market and the UK mentality when it comes to buying into chiropractic. So Halsa have a great marketing team, but I wanted more new clients, and I wanted to target specific populations who I'm interested in seeing. So for me, that's athletes and things like that. So that's why I started working with them, and based upon the conversations I've had with them, I wanted to get you guys involved, and I wanted you to hear what they have to say. So without further ado, I'm going to pass you over to them so they can go through the top 5 ways of getting new clients, and then stay tuned, because at the end I'm going to be giving that big announcement about what's happening with the Lions of Chiropractic next year.
Thanks, Connor, and thanks to all that are participating in the webinar today. This is Dr. Colin speaking, and we're excited to have you join us for this webinar. Now, I can assure you that you made the right decision to join us, because we've got a lot of goodies that you can take right into your practice tomorrow and implement. Goodies that will explode your practice. Now, Casey and myself have been in practice for 10 years as well, and we're in Connor's class at the AECC in Bournemouth. So we know each other well, and although Casey and I ended up back in Canada to practice ultimately, Casey's brother Gavin graduated a couple years ahead of us, and I had the opportunity to go and work with him in Scotland for a short period of time before heading home. Now, Gavin still practices there, and together with our UK clients for 3S Chiropractic Systems and my experience and our experience living in the UK, we understand the dynamics of practicing over there. So just a little bit about me. I graduated from computer science actually back in 2001 and worked for a communications company for years doing programming, where I developed a physical media scheduler for educational facilities that was web-based, which was cutting edge at the time. And then I wanted a more rewarding career and moved into chiropractic, which was one of the biggest milestones of my life. And since being in practice, experiencing the miracles in there have been such a huge impact on myself, seeing how that has changed people's lives, which is just amazing. So the long story short, after experiencing some family health challenges myself, I had to refine my own practice marketing systems and was able to use my computer skills, and together with my friends, Dr. Casey and Morgan and the Sinclairs, and now my business partners, we mastered generating online new patients and eventually developed 3S Chiropractic Systems. So we're now reaching over 500,000 people per month with a chiropractic message, which really excites me for the profession worldwide. And each client that we have will receive anywhere from 10 to 45 new patient requests in a month, which is amazing. And I truly believe that with the technology that we have today, we have the ability to educate the masses about our profession in volumes like never before, and also with an instant return on investment for the doctor. So really, it's win-win for the profession as a whole and for the individual doctors. And this is why I've been inspired to write my book called The New Patient Generator. Now, it's currently with the publishers, getting it ready for distribution, and will be ready for the official launch in the new year. Now, it's a complete guide or digital marketing strategy that's designed to help you set up a system or a new patient engine that will consistently drive 20 plus new patients into your practice each and every month. So watch out for that, as I'm really excited to bring this to the chiropractic profession. So my question for you is, have you ever participated in any public outreach or marketing in the past? I mean, if you really want to explode your practice, then you will have to do what it takes. Now, if you're not, or not consistently doing public outreach or marketing for your practice, then what's your biggest barrier to doing so? And if yes, if you are doing it, what has been your result? If not, then we're going to give you some tips on some areas where you can start. And if yes, then we're going to give you some tips on how to improve your results. So, here's what you're going to learn on this webinar. Today we're going to talk about innovative ideas for your public outreach. We're also going to give you some tips on how to maximize your referrals through effective patient communication. And number 3, we're going to talk about cutting-edge social media marketing, which is really our area of expertise. One barrier that I've noticed is that some chiropractors compare themselves to medical doctors and the medical system. Well, they don't have to market, or we shouldn't have to do marketing for healthcare. It's crooked. And you know what I say to that? Get over it. Get over the stigma. The reality is that the majority of the population have no idea what you do, who you are, or how you can help. So how do you think that will change the quickest? Waiting for the GCC or the associations to do it? I don't think so. That might take a century or more if we wait for that to happen. What I suggest is that each doctor must take initiative on their own. And guess what? You're allowed to, as long as you stay within the guidelines of the GCC. There are literally thousands of people within a 5-mile radius around your practice that need help for something that you have the perfect solution for. If you aren't doing public outreach or actively trying to grow your practice, then how are you going to help those people? So before we move on, I just want to make one thing clear. These methods that we are going to go through in this webinar do work. But I don't want you to waste your time watching this whole webinar if your priority is to get rich rather than serve your community, or you don't want to put in the work that's required. However, by implementing what we're going to teach you today, you could be seeing easily 20 plus new patients per month through the door in your practice. Now, I have to reiterate again that you are going to need to work to achieve these results. The wait for people to walk by and see your office and pop in method just isn't going to cut it. You've got to work and work hard, but it's so easy at the same time. Now, I want you to realize that these results that we're explaining in here are not typical and do not reflect a promise or a prediction of results. So, do you want to have the practice of your dreams serving ever-growing numbers of people in your community? And if the answer is yes, then this is how you get started with an abundance of people through the door. So here are our top 5 new patient generators, starting with number 5, health screenings. Now, for the last 10 years in practice, especially in the early years, this has been one of the most successful new patient generators for us. We've done things like corporate health fairs, tons of different trade shows, even like running events, like organized runs, to give an example. Now, if you are there providing value for the people in attendance, then it shouldn't be perceived as just a sales pitch for your practice. Now, we have been successful with doing postural assessments as people seem interested in that, but you can also easily correlate findings doing the posture checks with their health challenges. But there's other things you can do, like you can do a brief verbal consult if that's your thing. You can do gait assessments, or you can do computerized scanning technology like CLA's Insight scanning devices, which those can be a real draw because you can have a big, large monitor to show the results for everyone, and it looks kind of cool and technological. Now, you just want to make sure that you're staying within the GCC guidelines for screenings, obviously. But the thing that's really nice about doing health screenings is that you can have a face-to-face connection with these potentially future patients in your office. You have an ability to plant seeds and also show, if you take pictures, you can show online and in social media that you were at these events and showing support for your community, which people love. Now, one of the most important takeaways is you have to remember when you're doing them, think about what is going to be your call to action. And when you're at the health screening, you have to remember that you need to collect contact information. There is no point in simply handing out your business card and hoping that they're going to call, because they won't. Make sure to ask what are their health challenges. If you don't address their health challenges, then you can't confirm that you have the solution. Ask them if they would like help. This is a great pre-framing question that the answer should be 100% yes. However, it's not always, and that's okay too, but they are more likely to say yes at the end of the conversation when you make your recommendation to come into your practice for the initial visit, if they've already pre-confirmed that yes, that they do want help. Confirm that you have the solution. You must confirm that you have the solution, and they must believe you. If not, then they're probably not going to agree to come in. Make sure that you're scheduling on the spot and also taking an initial payment if you're allowed. Again, do not simply hand out your business card at the end of the conversation. Schedule them right there. Give them a physical confirmation on paper of their appointment, and take payment or deposit if possible. And try to schedule them within the next 3 days from the event to increase probability that they'll actually show up. And definitely make sure either yourself or your staff are doing reminder calls for their appointment the day before the visit. This is huge. Now, this is an example of a short questionnaire that we hand out to participants prior to speaking with them at health screenings. Now, we review the paper and then make sure to address their concerns in our conversation. Now, with health screenings, the biggest pitfall is that the amount of time involved in doing them really sucks. If you only did these like I did for the first 7 years of practice, then it will really suck the life out of you. So having a diverse outreach plan, I believe, is a better strategy. The quality of the patient, as Conor mentioned, would be somewhere in the middle, because you have had the opportunity to meet them and to educate them. But, I want to say that, do not dismiss those challenging patients. I know, and Conor talked about the quality of patients that come from different marketing or different outreach ideas. And, there will be different quality, but don't dismiss those challenging patients. Just get better at what you do and understand where each person is coming from, because many of those types of people become the best patients in practice. So if anybody wants any of the examples that I share in the webinar today, that we share, then you can email myself at drcolin@3schiropracticsystems.com, or just simply message Conor and I'll make sure that we get them to you. So do you think that you can at least commit to doing a health screening more than once in the next 3 months? We create an events calendar each year in January and set a goal to do at least 2 screenings per month and have 1 corporate talk and 1 internal talk in our practice per month. So I think that you can easily commit to starting with 1 or 2 events over the next few months to help you get going. Okay, corporate talks is number 4 on our top 5 new patient generator list. Now, with corporate talks, you've got a great opportunity to educate. You get to reach masses of people. You must make sure that you have workshops with a call to action, and always make sure that you schedule on site. Corporate talks are one of our favorite things to do. Both Casey and his sister and I love to speak, and we love a forum where we can get our message across to massive amounts of people in a short period of time. The patients that come into your practice from these events are fired up as well, which is awesome. Now, don't forget to always have your call to action within your workshop, and make sure to schedule appointments on the spot. If you need to bring your staff with you to help, then definitely do that, which is what we recommend. And if you don't have staff, then bring along a friend or your spouse. Now, some examples of talks here are fit while you sit, lose 20, basically it's lose 20 pounds in 30 days, nutrition, toxicity, but it's always handy to speak to the organization or the business and ask what the interests will be for the audience that you'd be speaking to. But the most important thing is, no matter what topic that you're speaking on, is to always tie the workshop back into chiropractic in the end. So here is some example pages from the brochure that we had made, one of the brochures that we made for businesses. Now we simply call up the businesses and ask if they have any upcoming health fairs, or if HR or the wellness committee would be interested in a complimentary workshop for their team. Now we either email them the brochure in follow-up, or simply just drop off the printed version to, or mail it to their location. So, do you think it would be possible to contact at least one business per day during the week while you're at your practice? Make this a plan. Remember, businesses are waiting for you to come along and offer your service. They're excited when you connect with them. When they bring you in, it shows their employees that they care about their employees' health, and it doesn't cost them anything. So now we're going to hand the webinar over to Dr. Casey, and he's going to talk about dinner with the doctor.
I want to thank Colin and Connor for inviting me on this webinar. I know that there's probably a few of you that went to school with me back in the day, or possibly were in my class. And you know what? It's probably been way too long. I hope we can reconnect. But for those of you that don't know me, I've been in practice for 10 years now. And I graduated from what was known as the AECC back in 2008. I believe the college changed their name. But I come from a chiropractic family. My father is a chiropractor. He's been in practice for over 40 years. And he, for many years, had a very busy, successful practice. But all in all, my family is made up of 7 chiropractors that are currently in practice. But I've been very fortunate to receive a lot of guidance from extremely successful, principled chiropractors for many years, and still do to this day. I've also learned from many prominent coaches in our profession. But my advice to anyone trying to build a successful practice, more than just learning practice tips or practice builders from all the quote unquote gurus, or even tips that you might find in this webinar, I would suggest to you to spend time with other chiropractors that you know for a fact have a busy and successful practice. And just go in there and see what they're doing and find out what they're doing that may resonate with you. I can say probably one of the most beneficial things I did, even back when I was a chiropractic student, I spent countless hours spending time in other chiropractors' offices. I found out who the busiest ones were, and I just went in there and I just wanted to see what they were doing and see what it is that would resonate with me. My other piece of advice would be to focus on just be yourself, be authentic. A lot of people will tell you what are the best ways to do things in practice, but just focus on what works for you. And when it comes to referrals, I know that's the topic for this webinar, but the biggest thing is if you're authentic and you're just being yourself, it's inevitable that they will just start to pour in. I've been fortunate to practice for the last 10 years alongside my sister Morgan, who's a chiropractor. And I'm fortunate because she is one of the busiest, most successful chiropractors that I know. And obviously that keeps me motivated in practice. But Colin and Connor asked us to share a couple of things that we do that works really well for us in terms of generating new patients and referrals. And one of those things is what we call the dinner with the doctor. And I know some other chiropractors call it the patient dinner or community dinner. Whatever you decide to name it, our dinner with the doctor is truly a win-win-win situation. It's a win for the restaurant because they get exposure to new customers, new potential customers. It's a win to you as a chiropractor because you get to share this life-changing information with your community. And of course, it's a win for the patient or potential patient, because not only do they get a complimentary dinner, but they also get access to this incredible information. So I would not hesitate when contacting restaurants about hosting this event, or patients about bringing friends or family to your event, or even calling someone to invite them personally. One important thing to consider is finding the right venue. When we started out in practice, we decided to hold these massive community dinners quarterly, where you would actually see, if you came to one of our dinners, you would see between 150 to 200 people from our community having dinner with us that we would cater. And it was an amazing event, a lot of energy and electricity in the air. But the problem is that it also took a lot of energy to organize these events. And we also found that with so many people there, a lot of the intimacy between the doctor and all of these people was lost. So we decided to change things and do something that works better for us. We found a local restaurant literally 30 seconds down the street from our clinic. We're really happy with the location because they serve amazing food, and they're also willing to adjust their menu, because we are healthcare practitioners. We want to be congruent with our community, and we want to make sure we're serving healthy meals. So a typical meal at our dinner would be, a chicken option with veg, two different salads they could choose from, and instead of rice, we put in the quinoa. And so they've been very accommodating for us. So I hope you can find someone that's willing to do the same for you. And the other thing is that this venue really only holds 40 people, which we find to be the perfect number and the perfect atmosphere for a community dinner. There are two different ways that we have done the dinner with the doctor in the past. We used to have it where we would invite our patients to come to the dinner, and the only stipulation would that they bring a guest. So when you came to our dinner, you would see that half the room was patients and half of them would be their guests, unless we had patients that were bringing 3 or 4 guests with them, which would not be uncommon. Now we've moved away from that in the last couple years, where we were strictly seeing potential new patients at our dinners, because we were directly marketing to our community. And it's thanks to digital marketing that we're able to reach so many people in our community, and that we've been able to fill these restaurants with 100% community members. Having said that, we always leave a couple spots open for our patients, because patients will approach us and say, they know someone who really needs to be there and needs to hear this life-saving information. And so we always like to leave a couple spots open for our patients and their guests. I know that there's other chiropractors out there who, some of them leave ballot boxes in these restaurants, where, customers can just fill out a ballot and have a chance to win an opportunity to go to a complimentary dinner with the doctor. Or some chiropractors have gone into restaurants and worked with the servers, and the servers would bring a ballot with every bill, and then customers are able to fill out the ballot and have a chance to win an opportunity to go to the dinner with the doctor. I'll be honest with you, we've never done any of that stuff. It's been strictly inviting our patients and guests, but now we don't even do that, and we just directly market our event.
Awesome, Casey. Thanks. Just let me jump in here for a second. I just want to share the results that Conor has gotten with one of the promotions that we've been running for him, and one of the ads that we've been running for him. So Conor has been doing the dinner with the doctor as per what Casey had just talked about for number 3 on our top 5 new patient generating list. And I just wanted to share the results that he's had in using our services, or using social media to generate the leads for people coming to that dinner, which I thought was pretty awesome. So his very first 3S Facebook campaign had generated 24 leads for that one event. Now, keeping in mind that each one of those individual leads is encouraged to bring a guest. We will even say that you could bring up from 1 to 4 people with you along to come to the dinner. So you can imagine how that number of 24 exponentially grows, which is really awesome. So we're excited to share that awesome result. Right now, Conor is running his second dinner, and the ad is actually even performing better than this one. So it's going to be a pretty awesome event. And now back over to Casey to talk about number 2 on our top 5 new patient generators list, talking about referrals. Casey?
Internal referrals are so important. Time and time again, you've been told that these are the best patients, and it's so true. This is what we experience. And we've put most of our energy into our patient doctor's report, and that has been literally what we've built our practice on. We have a new patient generator from the doctor's report because we take the time to pour into our new patients and give them incredible service and deliver the information in a way that they can apply it to their life. Naturally, people want to share great things with the people they love. We have a new patient doctor's report that we do every week, and for every new patient that's at that report, on average, we generate 4 to 5 referrals. And 10 years into practice, my sister and I still are trying to find out how we can make our doctor's report even better. And the beautiful thing about having a referral-based practice is that these referrals coming into your office, they're expecting to be sent to the doctor's report. They've heard so much about it from their family members and their friends that they can't wait to go to the doctor's report themselves. I know that there are chiropractors that also use table talk, during the visits to educate their patients, but also generate referrals. And that is good. I mean, if there's patients telling you what great results they're having, it's definitely a good time to, ask them if there's anyone else they know that would benefit from your care. I'll be honest with you, I don't do that myself. I use table talk just to kind of keep re-educating our patients, and it's just I'm solely focused on that patient that day and adjusting them. I'm not focused on getting a referral at that point in time, but I know there's other chiropractors that do, and that works really well. But we do, in addition to our doctor's report, we do have one other internal promotion in our office that works really well. And it's something we do every year around Christmas time, and we call it the Gift of Health. And, we've just kicked off our Gift of Health program right now. And I know by the end of the month, we'll probably have generated close to 200 referrals from that program. And so if you want to learn more about that program, by all means, you can reach out to us, and I'm happy to give you some of the details of what's working for us. But the biggest secret in terms of generating referrals is simply just ask. Ask for the referral, and don't make a big deal out of it. If you make a big deal of it, then it is awkward. If it's not a big deal, then it won't be a big deal to the patient either. So just ask them. We have something very special in chiropractic that nobody else in the healthcare professions offers. And people have a right to have access to it, but we need to let them know that we're here and that we are an option for them. And once you've generated these referrals, I know that a lot of chiropractors, hand off the referral to their staff to make the phone call, to schedule them in. And you could do that. And some of them, some clinics have amazing staff who are really good at it. But I actually love doing those calls myself. I love reaching out to these people and just calling them, not even trying to get them into my office, just simply offering them a quick consultation over the phone just to get to know them, learn more about their case, see if there is something I can actually help them with. And that connection built on that first phone call, sometimes I know that these patients are already committed to care before they even arrived at my office. It's so powerful. I do have kind of a script or a formula for my my phone consult that I use, and it works so well. If anyone wants a copy of that, by all means, reach out to Connor or Colin or myself, and I'd be happy to share that with you as well.
That's great. Thanks, Casey. So can you see how the doctor's report would be beneficial to the patient to encourage them to refer? If you're not doing any internal, like inner practice marketing right now, or you're not thinking about implementing anything, I highly, highly recommend that you do start doing doctor's reports, because it is one thing that will really help explode your practice from the inside. Okay, and the number one passive new patient generator on our top 5 new patient generating list is your online presence. Now this is where I think most chiropractors shy away, and the ones that embrace it are actually pulling ahead of the crowd. These include things like search engine optimization, Google advertising, email marketing, and social media. Now I'm sure everyone that's listening would agree that social media is a hot topic right now, and it's hot for a reason, because it works. Being a chiropractor myself, I know that finding a successful method to passively generate new patients into the practice would be like discovering the Holy Grail. And I tell you that social media marketing is the way. It's the Holy Grail for new patients. And here's why. You can market much more effectively than TV or radio at a fraction of the cost. In mere months, you can have half of your town know exactly who you are and how you can help them. And unlike TV, you get to have something called social proof, which boosts your credibility. Your community have the ability to comment, share, or like your message. You don't get that with TV or radio or even print. So when Steve sees your message, he also sees that a few of his friends, cousins, and parents have already endorsed it. This helps bring down the common barriers that include trust and unfamiliarity and credibility. So let me first describe the 3 types of prospective patients that exist around your practice. The number one type here is and they're not in any specific order, is a person that recognizes that they have a problem. They do know about chiropractic and how it can help, but they don't know anything about you. Now the second person is someone who recognizes that they have a problem. They don't know anything about chiropractic and therefore don't know anything about you. And the third person is someone who doesn't even recognize that they have a problem in the first place. Now, the great part about social media marketing is that it ticks all 3 of these boxes. So in other words, circling back to what Connor was talking about, social media marketing can help you build trust, educate, and you can maintain the investment for their health with the patient. Now, Facebook is by far the best platform for social media marketing, which is why we almost solely work with them. That's where the people are, right? Something over like 2 billion users worldwide, which is crazy, use Facebook. Now, I've mentioned before that there are thousands of people in your area that need your help. Now, if you think that I'm pulling that number out of thin air, then you're absolutely wrong. The cool thing about running a social media marketing company for chiropractors is that I have statistics of the interests of the people in the public from all different areas around the world. And believe me, I have an unbelievable abundance of it. And our stats show that with any given article surrounding health concerns that chiropractors can help with, there are literally 500 to 1,000 people per week clicking through to read those articles. So think for a second what that actually means. What it means is that there is not a shortage of people that need your help. But if only a small fraction of those are actually coming in to see chiropractors, then there must be barriers, right? So as a profession, we have to identify these barriers and focus on helping people overcome them. And I believe that through education and trust building through marketing on Facebook will help with that, as well as to help build your practice and business. But unless you have an interest in this stuff, then it can be complicated, time consuming, and if not done right, it can be very costly. So there's a lot to know, and it's a full-time job trying to stay on top of the trends. So there's also lots of people out there that are teaching you how to do it, and a bunch of done-for-you services just like ours, but we are different. So let me ask you, if there was a social media marketing system that guaranteed a positive return on investment with no work involved for you month to month, would that be of interest? Possibly, right? Well, realistically, there's two types of chiropractors that want to start marketing online. Ones that want to do it themselves and ones that want it done for them. If you're one of the ones that want to do it yourself, but you just need some guidance, no worries, that's awesome. That's why I've written my book, which will be published in the new year. Keep your eye out for that because it has all the tools that you'll need to put together a complete digital marketing strategy for your practice. Now, if you want someone to do it for you, then you're in luck as well. That's why we started 3S Chiropractic Systems years ago. Now, I know that you're probably being bombarded with people offering social media marketing services. I mean, my Facebook feed and email inbox gets hammered daily, so I could see how it would be overwhelming to choose who to help you. But there's a buzz happening with us, and I think it's because we're different. Number one, we're developed by chiropractors and we're run by chiropractors. Two, we built a large following in the community all around the world that we leverage for our clients' marketing campaigns. The Facebook page is called Family Health Advocacy, and right now we have close to 16,000 followers. We are also relentless. Number three, we are relentless in staying ahead of the digital marketing trends and are constantly implementing and testing new methods. Number four, our framework allows us to take on big numbers of clients, which allows us to keep our price point lower than our competition. Number five, our services for done for you are geographically exclusive. Number six, we don't have any contracts. We're month-to-month service. Seven, we have a limited time money back guarantee to get started, and this is something that we're implementing just for this webinar, so more about that in a minute. And number eight, we have a big vision for marketing the profession. So let's just take a brief moment to review some of the math. So these are all hypothetical situations, but this is probably below average for what we see for our clients, and I just want you to understand the value and the service that we provide. So let's say that our marketing services for you generate 10 new patients that come in through the door, and let's say that you have you charge 50 pounds for each new patient visit. So within a month, you would be collecting 500 pounds for just the new patient visit alone. And let's say on average, you see each of those 10 people for 12 visits and you charge 35 pounds per adjustment. So you would be collecting at that level 4,200 pounds for a total collection of 4,700. Now our 3S fee for providing these services for you is $800, and that doesn't include the spend that you spend for your advertisement. So you have to take into consideration what you would be wanting to spend on your advertisement. And each client of ours is different. They have different objectives, different goals. So the ad spend would be different per person depending on what that goal is. But on average, I would say we could easily produce these results with about 300 pounds in ad spend. So what does that actually translate into? It translates into a net profit for you of 3,600 pounds. Okay, let's take a look at what it would take to break even with our services. So let's say that our service underperforms and you only see 3 new patients that come in from it at 50 pounds per new patient appointment, and those 3 people come in 12 times. Realistically, you'd be collecting only $1,410 if that happened. Now, the total expense from the previous slide was $1,100. So at even only 3 new patients, you would still be in a positive cash flow situation of over 300 pounds. So now my question to you is, do you trust that we could at least help you achieve more than 3 new patients in a month? So here are some statistics from last month for one of our clients, Dr. Dan Brown, who practices in Perth in Scotland. He is an awesome wellness advocate and chiropractor, and he's also the founder of Chiropractic Jobs Online. So if you're looking for a new job or you're a doc that's looking for an associate, then this is the best service that I know of. Now for his practice, however, we've been working with him for over the last 3 months, and his results have been through the roof over the last month. Now last month, he had a total of 53 leads for his practice, which is amazing. And he has a multidisciplinary practice, so we created ads that focused on all the available disciplines for him. Now, this translates into a cost per lead based on what he was spending for his advertising of only £13.75, which is awesome. So think about what your return on investment could be with something like that. Now, please note that this is on the high side for our clients, and we got creative with this campaign to showcase all that his practice has to offer, which is why it has performed so well. But running ads for chiropractic services alone has an average result of about 10 to 20 new patients per month. Okay, so we've made it to the end of the webinar, and if you're still with us, then that's fantastic because we've got a special gift for you. We actually have multiple special gifts for you, but the first gift is a free digital marketing assessment for your practice with me. Now we can have a chat over the phone about your current campaigns and how to improve them, or if you just want to simply get started with digital marketing, then I can help guide you in the right direction. And I can assure you that this isn't a sales pitch in disguise, and I'm confident that what I share with you will be of value. The reason why I offer this for free is because if you do find value in our conversation, then it's a possibility that down the road you might become a client of ours. And also it's a possibility that you might buy my book coming up in the new year. So how exactly do you take advantage of that? You just simply go to the link right here. It's very easy. The link is 3schiropracticsystems.com/lions. Simply fill out the short form there, and I'll arrange a time to connect with you. And also I'll post the link in the comments or chat box beside the webinar presentation here. Okay, we've got one more bonus gift to provide for you today. Let's just say that it is all revolving around Black Friday tomorrow, so we're feeling generous. And we want to give you an opportunity to try us out risk-free. So if there's any of you out there that are listening that were interested in doing and working with us, and you register for that free consult today, then we're going to give you an opportunity to try out our services with a money-back guarantee, so that if you are unhappy with the level of service that we provide to you within that first month, then we will refund the fees that we charge to provide those services for you. Now, this is something that we're only going to be doing today. You have to just simply register for the free phone consult, and if you decide within the next month that you do want to start to work with us, that we'll still honor it. So all you have to do is sign up for that free consult, and we will activate this first month 3S fee money back guarantee for you. And again, here is the web address to take advantage of all the free gifts that we are offering today. And also, don't forget, you can check out the links in the chat box beside it. And if you have any questions at all, you can connect with us in the chat box, or of course email us or find us at our website at 3schiropracticsystems.com. And now, over to Connor, who also has a special gift bonus for you.
Thank you to Casey and Colin. I hope you guys learned something from them. I know I certainly have. I'd like to reiterate my belief that no matter what the source of new client, you have the potential to change the life of anybody who walks through your office door. I hope this webinar has given you some tools to help target those people who may be more invested in the services you provide, in order that you could help serve more people in your community. Now, As I promised, I have some exciting news about the Lions seminar we have planned for 2018. The date in your diary should be May 19th for what's going to be a jam-packed one-day event. The seminar in 2017 was a huge success, and so the challenge was to go bigger this year. Over the past few months, we have been chopping and changing ideas until we've come up with the perfect format. Now, first off, we've ambitiously come up with a new format that will include some speakers and some workshops. We hope this will inspire and teach you, as well as giving you some practical skills to take home to use in clinic on Monday. Just like last year, we have a fantastic lineup of speakers with a focus on people who are working in the UK and Irish markets. We also are planning a new CA workshop event this year that we are calling the CA Safari, which will run alongside the chiropractic workshops to inspire your front desk staff. So check out the link posted below the webinar for all the details. We have more speakers to be confirmed, but I promise you that the final lineup will blow your socks off. The investment for a full DC ticket in pounds will be $199. For CAs, it's $99, and for students, it's $50. However, as today is Thanksgiving, we're having a Black Friday sale on all of our tickets for the next 48 hours. So DC tickets will be just $95, CA tickets will be $49, and student tickets will be just £25. So I encourage you to take action now and invest in yourself and your teams. I promise both you and your team will get so much out of this seminar. Thank you once again for joining us. Feel free to share this webinar, and let's continue to take pride in our profession and grow together. Thank you.